So I want to speak to um well, maybe the divine masculine energy. So it's not necessarily male or female. It's just what the left brain wants to do. But it makes sense, like, just as within, so without, whatever, above, below, between twins, masculine, feminine, left brain, right brain. What happens is if we get too polarized in the right brain, in order to reel that back in to center, the left brain will overcorrect or overcompensate. Not over, but just, will become a little bit extreme or polarized, if you will. There's no negative I'm just trying to find words that that's why I like diagrams, but here, a little bit of static I have on. It's nice and warm. I wish I could open the windows though, but there's a lot of just X's all over the damn sky. So I have the one little bathroom window open in the back of the house, for fresh air, but I got all the nice light coming in, but just, yeah. we already feel, whatever. We're not going to give it any energy and give it a name, so moving on. We're just resting. It feels good to just, there is a time for resting, so that's what God wants me to do right now. And I've seen, it's funny because I have seen this a lot in movies, and then I would see it in real life too, so I don't know if it's like art reflecting life, or it's just like conditioning, but it makes sense that it's a natural thing that we do to adjust in order to, to balance out, so that, we're mirroring our best, highest self. Our best expression would be, from our heart, so balanced. So the feminine, especially during a big moon, like this one, feeling a big, she can, and then I've just always had issues with my cycle since it started. Oh my gosh. Just bad, especially the women on my dad's side of the family. Really bad, like cramping, migraine, vomiting, just so tired, can't get out of bed. You can become very dizzy and sweaty. We were like laid out. Okay. Like your mommy used to do with your clothes when you're in elementary school the night before, laid out. I want to wear my Spider-Man outfit. Okay, whatever, Bobby, whatever you want to wear your Spider-Man cape. Okay, just make sure, just eat your vegetables. But anyway, okay, I'm going off track. Now I'm thinking about movies and dialogue and stuff starting out. I've got like that energy in my head. So, just, and if anyone that's watching, you've been in a long-term relationship, or you're in one, or what will happen when the feminine is just in her watery, her moon, especially during the moon, full moon, or her cycle, and it usually should match up with the full moon, and it can pull a lot out of you, so you can just become more expressive. And it's not that wasn't lingering before, but during a full moon time, during her cycle, she'll express more, as above, so below. And so spiritually, she'll be more expressive, or emotionally, or express her anger more. It's not that those things didn't frustrate her the rest of the month, but it's just she becomes more expressive and letting go during that time, during the moon, during the cycle, the releasing. So it's nothing that the left brain needs to overcompensate for or fix. When the feminine needs to be in that energy, I feel like the masculine, the left brain, so this is happening, it's happening internally. Okay, so we know how things are balanced. So internally, externally, above, below, between twins, all that. So the masculine wants to fix stuff. Okay, like, oh, she's sick, or well, first they want to name it, right? It's like they got to categorize it. The left brain's got to put it in a category. So, is she sick? Is she sad? Is she mad? Is she okay? And then once they figure that out, or they think they did, then they want to fix it. And then how do I fix it? I can come up with suggestions, solutions. I can point out things that maybe that she could correct that would help with the. So, you know, we just have to be patient with ourselves with this internal process that happens. So, as emotional, feminine, it doesn't have to be accurate. It's watery, it's flowy, it's feminine, it's okay. It's feelings, it's emotion. It is what it is. You just have to accept it for what it is. There's no judging it. There's no comparing people's pain. There's no this kind of thing. So if someone feels a certain way, you just have to honor their feelings. So when the feminine, when the right brain needs to be in that energy, the left brain just needs to be present. And just understand that just needs to happen, that there's nothing wrong, because, you know, it may seem lower vibrational from a 3D perspective, but we have to remember that everything's divine, and there's a lot of things that interplay, especially, you know, with the woman's body and her cycles and all these things. So and life can just get heavy and overwhelming, and then if you're okay, like I'm talking about a female body now, okay, with the cycles, very in tune with the moon, and being just present and aware of that from a masculine perspective, and just being patient with that, trusting in the process and just surrendering to the flow. There's no fixing anything, because no judgment has to come into place. In order to give it a name, a label, you have to form a judgment. So surrendering to not having to form a judgment and give anything a label in order to categorize it, so that we can now impose our viewpoint, our suggestions, our so, and that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. It's just we're just to be coming at it from a more conscious perspective, instead of dualistic or having to name it, label it, okay, and go through this process with everything. The dualistic, the polarizing, the oppositional conditioning, and then transcend it all. It's like we can just delete this process and not have to engage. So, you know, if something from a 3D perspective seems like it's negative, someone's getting emotional, oh, I don't, this, that, whatever, you know, it's just the ebbs and flows, the texture of life. it doesn't, it just is what it is, which means it doesn't mean that this means that. So just because something's happening, you just accept it for what it is. You don't have to, oh, well, that means that this is happening. The over analyzing of things that we do. Yeah, so if you're, it's just the texture of life, and there's the peaks and valleys, and when you're in a valley, that's fine. And it doesn't mean that you're being influenced by any kind of, demonic spirit or whatever, any kind of, whatever you want to call it, dark influence. It's just, everything's you, okay? So there is no separation. There's only concentrations of energy, okay? There's no hard line boundaries. So it's all just texture. It's all divine, so we just need to surrender to that, accept it, and we don't have to engage anymore in this process of judgment where we have to form a judgment so that we can give it a label, categorize it so we can understand it in order to come up with a solution to this, what we've deemed as a problem. Yeah, so I just wanted to sum it up one more time, basically what I was saying. So I'll leave it there. That's long enough. 12 minutes is good. All right. Love, peace, and blessings.